Lesson 11.5 is about circumferences and areas of circles. So first of all, you're used to dealing with the irrational number pi when you find the circumference and areas of circles. And you know what pi is approximately, but pi is actually an irrational number. It can't be captured exactly as a decimal value or as a fraction, but we can approximate it really close. What pi represents is the ratio of the circumference of a circle divided by the circle's diameter. And pi is approximately equal to 3 14/100ths and approximately equal to 22/7 if we want to approximate it with a fraction. Okay, but in most of the work that we're going to do when we find circumferences and areas, we're going to leave our answers in terms of pi. Like if something has a circumference of 12 pi, we're going to leave it as that. We know that means 12 times about 3.1, so it means something a little more than 36. But we're pretty much going to leave our answers in terms of pi. So the circumference of a circle, which is the distance around the circle itself, is equal to 2 times pi times the radius. And because 2 times the radius is just another way of saying diameter, another way I could say it is the diameter of the circle times pi, which I get when I, solve this equation for C, for the circumference. Okay, then the area of a circle, you're used to hearing this, is pi times the radius squared. So circumference is 2 times pi times r, and area is pi times r squared. What this means is that if I have a circle with a radius of 6, the circumference will be 2 times pi times the radius, or in this case, the circumference will be 2 times pi times 6, or 12 pi. If I want to find the area of the circle, the area will be pi times radius squared. So that's pi times 6 squared in this case, which is 36 pi. Okay, and then just to be clear, the 12 pi, the circumference, is in linear units, so centimeters, meters, feet, and the 36 pi, the circle, is in square units, so square centimeters, square feet, square inches, etc. Okay, in this next example, let's say that I'm given a circle that has an area of 50 pi square units, and I have to find the circumference. So really the only dimension that you need to know with the circle is you need to know the radius. So we can use what we know about area to find the radius, and then we can plug that into the formula to find the circumference. So I know that, let's frame it, area is pi r squared. And I know that the area I'm given is 50 pi. So I say, okay, well 50 pi must equal pi times r squared. So then I see I've got pi on both sides. So if I basically divide both sides of this equation by pi, I get r squared is 50. So r is the positive square root of 50. And the reason I know it's the positive square root of 50 is that a radius is a distance, and distance is always positive. So 50 is 25 times 2. So I get that the radius is 5 times the square root of 2. Now that allows me to plug that into the circumference formula. So the circumference is 2 times pi times the radius. So that's 2 times pi times 5 root 2. Okay, so in other words, the circumference is 2 times 5, which is 10, times root 2 times pi. So 10 root 2 pi units. And of course the original area, 50 pi, was in square units. Okay, in this last example we've got a diagram and we want to find the red shaded area. So what this diagram is a rectangle, and inside of it I have one whole circle with a radius of 6, and 2 half circles with a radius of 6. So essentially I have, if you put the 2 halves together, I have 2 circles with a radius of 6. So first, what we probably figure we want to do is take the area of the total rectangle and subtract from that the area of the 2 circles, and that should leave me the red shaded area. So what I want to do to find the area of the rectangle is get the base and the height. So I notice that each of these circles has a radius of 6. So that's I have a diameter of 12 for the middle circle. So if I go across, I have a radius of 6 right here, and then I have a diameter across this circle of 12, and I have a radius of 6 across this circle. So altogether, that is 24 in the base. And then going this way, I have a radius of 6 and a radius of 6. So my height is 12. So the area of my rectangle is 24 by 12, which is 288 square units. Okay, now as for the area of my 2 circles, I have 2 circles, and the area of each of them is pi times 6 squared. Okay, so that's 2 times 36, which is 72 pi. So that would be the area, if I leave it in terms of pi, of the red shaded area. Now if I wanted to make an approximation as to what this value is, then I would multiply 72 by approximately 3.14, and I would get 226. So I could, if I wanted a decimal approximation, I could say the rectangle minus the circle area of about 226, which is about 62 square units. Okay, so both of these, no matter whatever your units are, these would both be in square units, and it just depends on how you're asked to give your answer. So that's it for areas and circumferences of circles.